You've heard about it 100 times. Compounding is the secret to wealth. But let me ask you, if that's true, why isn't it working for most people? Why do so many investors give up right before the real magic happens? Why does it feel like you're doing everything right, but getting nowhere? Today, we're pulling back the curtain on what's really blocking your compounding machine and how to fix it. Stay with me, because by the end of this video, you'll never look at your dividends or your timeline the same way again. Let's go back to 1960s Michigan. Grace Groner was a quiet secretary at Abbott Laboratories. She never married, never flaunted wealth. She bought 3 shares of Abbott stock in 1935 and held them for over 70 years. She reinvested every dividend. No flashy trades, no trendy speculation, just quiet conviction. When she passed in 2010, her estate was worth over $7 million. Her secret? She never interrupted the power of compounding. She didn't chase hot stocks or try to time the market. She let time and consistency do the heavy lifting. While others gambled on IPOs and tech bubbles, Grace let her humble investment snowball into a legacy. She left it all to charity. So here's the question. What made Grace's strategy work, while others miss it completely? If you're serious about creating lasting wealth, this is the moment to pause, hit the subscribe button, and join a community that values strategy over noise. Let's break down exactly why compounding isn't working for most people, and how to make sure it works for you. Think about it. Why does compounding fail for the average investor? It's not because they didn't invest enough. It's not because they chose the wrong stocks. It's because they didn't give it time or structure. Here's what usually happens. You start investing. You get your first dividend check. It's $1.73. You shrug. This won't change my life. So you spend it. Or worse, you panic when the market dips, sell everything, and reset the clock. Every time you cash out or stop reinvesting, you break the chain. It's like digging up a tree every year to see if it's growing. Of course it's not. You never gave it time to root. And here's the truth most people ignore. Compounding is boring in the beginning. It disguises itself as not working. But under the surface, it's building. As behavioral finance experts explain, we're wired for linear growth. We expect a steady climb. But compounding is exponential. It's slow, 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 then sudden. It's not magic, it's math. And it's working even when it feels invisible. Now here's a twist most people never see. Compounding isn't just about dividends. It shows up in your habits, your mindset, your routines. If you start saving $5 a day instead of spending it on a daily latte, that $5 could grow into thousands over a few decades. Small, consistent actions are the foundation of exponential results. So if you've ever looked at your small dividend and thought, this is pointless, that's the trap. Coming up next, we'll show you how to transform those small checks into a full-blown income machine. By the way, if you're enjoying this video so far, comment the word "more" below, so I'll know you want more videos like this. All right, let's move on to the next compounding mistake, the psychology of small checks. Let's get honest. The reason most people abandon compounding? The checks are too small to feel real. You get a $3.28 dividend from your ETF. You laugh. What's this gonna do? But here's what you're missing. That $3.28 reinvested quarterly, compounded over 25 years, can become hundreds, if not thousands. That's what compounding hides. It buries wealth inside boredom. Behavioral economists call this hyperbolic discounting, the tendency to value small, immediate rewards over larger future ones. We'd rather have $10 now than $50 in a year. But wealth doesn't work that way. The people who win are the ones who let time stack up behind their decisions. You've probably seen it. Everyone's out here hyped over the latest meme stock, some obscure token, or another AI startup promising 100x. And when you tell them you made 12 cents in dividends today, they chuckle. But let's be real. That chuckle disappears when your portfolio is paying you monthly rent 10 years later. There's an overlooked study from Dalbar Research that shows average investors underperform the S&P 500 drastically because of emotional decisions. They buy high, sell low, and constantly interrupt compounding. Meanwhile, someone who sticks with their boring dividend plan outperforms without lifting a finger. As Charlie Munger once said, "The first rule of compounding, never interrupt it unnecessarily." Stick around, because coming up, we'll look at the step-by-step method to build your own quiet dividend machine, and you'll never laugh at $3.28 again. Now, let's look at why compounding needs a system, not just an investment. Let's clear up a myth. Buying a dividend stock isn't a compounding strategy. It's just the first move. What truly unlocks compounding is a system, a set of actions repeated without emotion, without delay, and without second-guessing. Think of it like farming. Buying a dividend stock is planting a seed. But a seed won't grow unless it's watered consistently, fed nutrients, and given time in the sun. That's your system. You need automatic contributions. You need drip reinvestment. You need quarterly check-ins where you review your share count and dividend growth, not just price. The analogy here is simple. Compounding is like a flywheel. At first, it takes effort to move, but once it's spinning, the momentum does the work. But if you stop pushing every few months, guess what? It slows down. So don't just focus on the investment. Build the machine around it. Because Grace Groner and Shyber didn't just invest once. They created consistent systems. That's the missing link. And here's one more thing to think about. Every financial institution, endowment, and pension fund that builds long-term wealth, they all use systems. They don't rely on willpower. They automate. They review. They stay boring and win big. This is the step most retail investors miss. It's not about having a high IQ or chasing trends. It's about building processes you can stick to even when it's not exciting. So if your portfolio feels stagnant, maybe it's not the asset. It's the system you haven't built around it. Up next, we'll revisit a story Wall Street never brags about, but one that proves how powerful a boring, consistent system can be. Let me introduce you to Shyber. She was a retired IRS auditor. Started with just $5,000 in the 1940s. Invested in blue-chip, dividend-paying stocks. Never touched the principal. Reinvested every check. Stayed the course. When she passed away in the mid-90s, her net worth had grown to over $22 million. No side hustle. No real estate empire. No viral TikTok. Just patience and consistency. Anne didn't have flashy mentors or billion-dollar networks. She just understood that compounding, left uninterrupted, could do something extraordinary. While others were out chasing the next big thing, she stayed the course, quietly building her fortune behind the scenes. Her portfolio included names like Coca-Cola and Colgate, nothing speculative, nothing trendy, just stable income-producing giants that kept paying her quarter after quarter. And the most astonishing part? She lived in a modest apartment and never told anyone about her wealth. She let the numbers speak for themselves. She ultimately left her entire fortune to a scholarship fund, impacting generations to come. What's powerful about Anne's story isn't just the final number. It's the way she treated compounding like a habit, not a headline. She didn't chase highs. She chased reliability. She didn't need daily portfolio updates. She just needed her plan. So ask yourself, are you chasing noise or are you quietly building a legacy like Anne? Because this is the reality. The market doesn't reward attention seekers. It rewards consistency. Coming up, I'll show you how to make this your reality, even if you're starting with just a few bucks. Now, let's talk about how to flip the script on wealth creation. Here's what no one tells you. The wealthiest people don't get rich fast. They get rich quietly. They don't chase shiny objects. They chase discipline. They prioritize consistency over chaos, long-term plans over viral trends. And that's what compounding really rewards. Not intelligence, not luck, but time plus consistency. So if compounding hasn't worked for you yet, maybe it's because you've been asking too much too soon. You've been expecting instant fireworks instead of trusting the quiet work beneath the surface. Flip the script. Reinvest the small checks. Trust the process. Make boring your superpower. Give your money the time it needs to become powerful. Stop comparing your journey to someone else's highlight reel. Instead, build momentum quietly, brick by brick. Create a system where you don't have to think, because your setup does the work. Use tools like Drip. Track your dividend income every 3 months. Don't measure success by market price. Measure it by how many assets you now own. Compounding isn't just a math function. It's a habit loop, a rhythm, a mindset. Your job is to protect that loop at all costs. And here's something most people forget. Once compounding starts accelerating, it feels unstoppable. Your dividends will start buying you more shares than you ever imagined. Your account will hit milestones while you sleep. And people will start asking, how did you do it? You'll know the answer. Because while everyone else was sprinting in circles, you were compounding quietly, relentlessly, on purpose. Let's bring it all together. You've made it to the end. And that means you're not just curious about compounding. You're ready to master it. We've walked through what stalls the engine, what fuels it, and how to stay the course. You now understand why those tiny dividend checks matter, why automation isn't just convenient, it's essential, why the most powerful investment isn't in a stock or ETF, but in time itself. This isn't just a theory. It's the blueprint used by people like Shyber who turned pennies into millions. You now know how to set up your dividend machine. You know how to automate it. You know how to avoid the emotional traps and compounding killers. And most importantly, you know how to build wealth that outlives you. So if you're still here, I want you to comment below, I'm building quietly. Because that's what we do at Trip to Wealth. We're not chasing noise. We're building legacies. And before you go, here's your challenge. Take the 90-day dividend test. Reinvest every dividend, track your share count and income, and watch what happens. You'll be amazed how quickly confidence replaces doubt. Remember, stop chasing hype and start stacking wealth the right way. This video is for educational purposes only and does not constitute investment advice. It is important to conduct thorough research and consult with financial professionals before making any investment decisions. The value of investments can fluctuate, and past performance is not indicative of future results. Always assess your risk tolerance and investment goals before allocating your capital. If this message resonates with you, I recommend you watch this video next. Thank you for joining us today. We hope you found this video informative and exciting. If you enjoyed it, give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel. See you in the next one.